Now, I may have uncovered something that's really triggered my sales. So I want to talk to you guys about that here on the other side. So without any further ado, let's go. Welcome back to my channel. This is John from Flippin' Ain't Easy. And as I mentioned on the other side, yes, I've made some changes and I think I've uncovered something that I'm going to be implementing, something that I think I've actually seen a few of you guys post, but of course it seemed a little extreme to me at the time, and that is the usage of end item and selling similar. Now, as you guys know, I utilize this on a daily basis, and I go in and the items that are about to end, instead of allowing eBay to allow that listing to recycle, I go in and I end the item and I just relist it, and I go in and I tweak things, right? Tweak maybe the price, maybe the item title, maybe the way the photos are, maybe that's not the best photo in the first slot, that type of thing. Maybe my photos are garbage, time to redo the photos. Maybe it's my item description wasn't complete. Maybe it just, I was listing on my app and I didn't go back in and edit the item description to add all the keywords that I'm missing. Maybe my price is just way too high. So there's a lot of reasons why I do that, and historically it's worked pretty well. But as I'm going to show you here, I've had some really rough weeks, guys. December was not a good month for me, and then we turned the corner, new year, and it wasn't very good to start either. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about and what I did, and kind of talk to you about that. So let's go on over to the computer and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Here's a little something I want to show you guys with my sales. This is showing you how sad things have been for me. Now, I believe it was the 14th when I moved everything from this account. I mean, not everything, but the under $20 items from this account to my secondary, right? Which basically took me from like 830 items down to like 330. So about 500 items I moved over to the other account. Now, look at this. Let's say December 27th. This is with all 800 some odd items, right? All these $73, $51, $63, $130, $199, $122, $179, $164. You could just see. And I get here the day before I moved it all over, to split the accounts up, $79.97. So it was at this point I was thinking to myself, this is not sustainable, okay? And so while everyone was having great sales up through January, I decided that, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move all of my under $20 items over to my secondary account. Now, that left me like 300 some odd items, so less items to sell. Now, of course, I'm listing items along the way, but that Saturday, the next day, the 14th, $329 in sales. So it was like a huge uptick in sales, and then down to 140, then 125, 131. Now, mind you, I'm getting about $100 a day on the other account, okay, with the smaller stuff. So really, it's like 400, 240, 225, 231, if that makes sense, like 162. It's kind of like what it's averaged, anywhere between like 75 to like 125 on the other account, with 500 some odd items, all under, $20 for the most part. So, of course, I'm doing some sales, things are better than over here, but, then I get to, this is Friday before I got suspended, okay, the 20th of January. The day I got suspended, I had some sales that came in that morning, and then I got suspended. And I guess this here on Sunday was the people that were waiting to pay. I maybe accepted an offer and they paid. So this here really, Saturday and Sunday really is an anomaly, shouldn't really be counted. But here's what happened. When I got my account reinstated, okay, on Sunday, like afternoon, evening, okay, I decided, you know what? I'm going to go in and I'm going to end, because some of my items are like trickling in. Some of you said I had like 30 items, 40 items that were showing up out of the 330. And I'm like, okay, wait. If I'm able to list new items, because I had some items in draft that I launched after they reinstated me, I said, if I'm able to list new items, then what's preventing me from ending all these items and relisting? So that's what I did. I took my entire store, 330 items that I was waiting to show up to have visibility. I launched them. And guess what happened? The next day, $304 in sales. Tuesday, $568.11 in sales. Okay. And on Wednesday, $281 in sales. So that is this week for me. It's been great. Now look, Monday through Friday historically has not been very good for me. Actually, Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays is where I usually make my sales. So how can you go from all this just bad, right? And with a lot of items over here, and then I make the change and then get suspended here, and this here is sales. That's not even counting the sales, like again, around $100 a day on the other store. And so now that's better. That's more along the lines of where I expect to be. And what changed? Well, the end items sell similar, giving my items that boost. I have a 1,000 item limit for my store, the basic, before I can jump up to the next level and pay more. I think it's like $60 something a month, and I think you get like 10,000 listings. So the theory would be to go in and like on a daily basis, or really I wouldn't do it that often because the boost is like 2 or 3 days. Maybe every third day, go in and just wipe out your store and end items sell similar, and do that in bulk. It would take you like 5 to 10 minutes. The problem with doing that is it would run through your listings. So like for me, my basic store, I'm paying $20 something a month. To pay $60 something a month on that same store, I guess if I'm getting this kind of return, it might be worth doing that. But I figure if I have 330 items in my store, I'm listing about that in a month. So it's like 650, 660 between the active listings and the listings I'm going to introduce to my store, because as sales happen, I've got to replenish those items. And of course, I'm trying to build the store, but that leaves me pretty much like midway through the month where I can go in with this store size and go in and end all the items and sell similar to get another boost. So I'm gonna toy with it. If I get the similar results to this with doing something like that, let's say, in a few days, maybe I think a week or so from now, I'll try it. If I get that type of result, then I will up my store to the next level, because it just makes sense to have those extra listings to fall back on. Because if you exceed your listings, you're paying an insertion fee for each one of these. And of course, I don't want to do that. So I think it's a little bit more economical to have the next level store than to spend, 10, 15 cents for every listing, multiplied, by 300 or 400. So that's my thoughts on that. And maybe, guys, look, maybe it's just luck. Maybe all this time I've been unlucky and get suspended, and then boom, as soon as they lift the suspension, my sales goes nuts. Now, I've heard nothing to the sort. People say, look, I get suspended, I get unsuspended, and it usually takes me a good week to get back on track. And all I did was end all those items that were maybe flagged, I don't know, and sell similar as a new listings, and they get that new listing boost. So I just wanted to show you guys, and look, my revenue is way down, like down even from what it was last month. And that's including this good run here. So I'm finding ways to turn it around, and my last 90 days is just trash for me. I need more than that, and I'm used to doing more than that. So this just shows you where I'm at, but I'm working on it, and that's the key. I'm not sitting around allowing eBay to determine what's going to happen with my store. I'm being proactive, and of course, pardon the pun, because proactive is what helped me get suspended. But I'm being proactive with what I'm doing, and I'm not even counting. I think I have the last 7 days on the other store is like $400 or $500, $600. So it's pretty good if you consider that all these items were together and doing this, I have it broken down into two separate stores with my higher ASP on this one, and it seems to be working. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. So I'm pretty excited about the changes that I've decided to make. That and the fact that I'm sourcing a little bit differently. Of course, I'm doing the yard sale thing. I'm doing a weekly trip to the bins. Now, the bins that we have, the Goodwill bins, aren't all that really. You'll find a few items that maybe you can sell for over 20 bucks. So those items are really, for the most part, going to be put on my smaller store. And I say smaller store, even though it has more items, it's for my items that are under $20, that kind of thing. It's like a supplemental store, and it's going to help me move a lot of existing stock and stuff like that. And it's working fine. But I also have found other sourcing methods that I don't want to really share, because then I think it's one of the honey hole things that I'm doing, and I just don't want to give that away. And I hate to say that, but I'm trying to survive here with my sales. But you got to be creative. You got to get out of your comfort zone. And I've said this many times on this channel, but I think a lot of us are victims of our own just stubbornness, like me. And we get comfortable. We get comfortable with the type of items and the way that we source, right? And look, a lot of you guys have said, the way to do it is to niche down. And that's great if you have an actual source of the same type of item consistently for a consistent price. If you have an agreement worked out, usually that's kind of the way it works. You have an agreement worked out with someone where you can go in and you can buy, let's just say, shoes from the same person every other week or every week, and maybe at a swap meet or wherever you go, then that's awesome, right? So I don't have that. And so until then, I've got to find creative ways to source and to put higher demand items in and I call it it's my main store, even though I have fewer items in that store. And in both cases, both stores, I'm going to continue to build the value and, as a result, the number of listings, because again, my goal is to make around, you saw what I was making here over the last few weeks. My goal is to be around $500 a day in sales or more. Of course, I'm not going to be satisfied with just 500 once I get to that point. And you heard me right. I said once I get to that point, because it's going to be something I focus on and really just make it happen. I know a lot of times we talk about it, but and sometimes when you talk about it and don't have a way to do it, it becomes a failure and a disappointment. But I'm not going to fail here, because I have a plan of action that I've put into place, and I'm pretty confident that this time I have it figured out. And I just want you guys to let me know what you think about my sell similar idea, maybe doing a complete sell similar process for your entire store, at least maybe once a month, if not more than that, if you have the number of listings that would allow you to do that, based on if you have a store or not. So guys, tell me what you think. Put your comments down below. I'd appreciate that. Let me know if you think I'm on the right track. Maybe you think I'm just going to fail. I know that I'm not. I wouldn't. Look, guys, I've thought about this very long and hard. The alternative is to find another way to make money. That is going out and getting a job. And I think sometimes if you don't have a plan, you're going to fail. But I have a plan, and I'm very confident that even with the slowing economy, people are still out there buying stuff on eBay. There's still a market, and maybe that market slowed down a bit for some of us, but if you continue to source the same things you did last year and the year before, where you didn't make the kind of money that you were hoping to make, that's where you're going to fail. So I'm improving on that front, and I'm happy to report the last few days these changes have made a difference, as you saw on the graph. But I mean, that's a small sample size. So I'm going to continue doing the things that I've done. And of course, I kind of feel like I'm accountable to you guys as well as I'm accountable to myself. So I'm going to be kind of sharing my progress with you as I go. But do me a favor, of course, as you guys know, if you enjoy the video, hit that like button. That's all I really ask. Of course, like 60% of you guys right now who watch don't even subscribe. So if you like the channel and you watch the videos, why not subscribe? And if you want to be notified when we do the lives, which is on Mondays and on Fridays, hit that notification bell so that you can be notified when we decide to do that. So guys, taking action is something that you really need to do if you're serious about not only growing your business, but staying in business. And yet it's just another example of how sometimes flipping ain't easy. And I want you guys to have an excellent rest of your day, and we will talk to you very soon.